Hi, I want to talk to you today about breathing. And you might think, oh my goodness, why are you creating a video on how to breathe? We all know how to do that. If we can breathe, we would be dead. And while that's true, I think in modern times we have just lost connection with the things that are organic and natural. So we sit at a desk a lot, or we sit and watch TV, or we're on our phones or whatever, and we hunch forward and we don't expand our lungs and take deep breaths. And it's like the more complicated someone's picture becomes in health, and that's when I usually meet someone, is that their picture is very complicated. They've got a lot of things going on, and they feel like they need medications or supplements or whatever they think the solution is to heal their body. And a lot of times it goes back to basics. Things like, are they getting enough oxygen? It's essential to life. That's one of the foundational things. So one of the most powerful things that we can do is make sure that we are taking in enough oxygen and doing it intentionally. So I want to make sure that I give credit to Wim Hoff for this. And this is his teachings. It's called the Wim Hoff method. You can look him up, you can read his book. There's a ton of stuff, but he has done all of this really cool research, and there are thousands of people that will tell you that just by using his breath and cold immersion techniques, that they have radically changed their health. So imagine what happens when we take all of the functional health stuff that we do, the really great stuff like making sure we're eating a nourishing diet, making sure we're correcting any imbalances that show up on our lab testing and things like that to give our body what it needs to heal. Imagine what happens when we do that, and at the same time we bring in some of these things that we might have just forgotten about and we need to be reminded of. So that's what I want to do with the breath technique. And here's how you do that. I'm going to step you through how it works and how you do it. So his technique is centered on taking in oxygen so that it fills the belly, the lungs, and the brain. So he uses the mouth. You breathe in through the mouth, and then you exhale sharply. So you're gonna, when you do this, you're gonna feel silly because it's loud. It sounds like he's this Nordic Viking kind of guy, and so it sounds like. And when you do this right, you are blowing off CO2 that accumulates. And you can actually see this in people, and I see this all the time on their lab tests. Their carbon dioxide is that their levels are too high in their blood. It's because they're never breathing in enough oxygen and taking out and releasing the carbon dioxide. So when you breathe really deep, you take in the oxygen you need and blow out the carbon dioxide. So what you want to do is in and out through the mouth, suck in as much as you can to fill the belly, the chest, and the brain. So it's like, and then breathe it out. So the way he has you do this is, the first thing you want to do is make sure you're comfortable, so that if you start to get lightheaded when you do this, that it's okay. If you're sitting down or you're laying down, don't do it while you're driving, don't do it while you're in the water, don't do it if you're standing up and you might get lightheaded and fall down. So that's the first thing. Find a comfortable place. And this whole practice, the breathing, they do 3 rounds is his method, and each round consists of 30 of those breaths. And then after you do that, then you take it in, you breathe in, you exhale out, and after you're done exhaling, you hold it. And you'll notice after the first round, the 30 breaths, you're going to notice that you can hold your breath for maybe around a minute or so. And then as soon as you're done with that, you let it go. Then you take it in, you hold it for 10 seconds and you contract and tighten and squeeze the abdomen and the chest and really try to force that oxygen, visualize forcing that oxygen up to hit your brain. You hold it for 10-15 seconds and release and you're done. That is round one. It's 30 breaths. Hold it, time yourself if you want to, see how long you can hold your breath, and then do that 10-second in and out. With squeezing it up and forcing some oxygen to the brain. Now you're going to repeat that cycle 3 times. So it's a 3-round breath cycle. And this whole thing takes somewhere in the neighborhood of 20-25 minutes. And I would encourage you to set aside time when this can be meditative in nature. It's not a time to race through a to-do list or anything like that. And if we're seriously honest, and we want to make the kind of changes that we want to make in our life, we can set aside 20 minutes a day. Ideally, it's in the morning because this kind of resets you and gets you ready to go for the day. But if the nighttime is the time when you can do it, that's okay too. Just do it when you can. The only thing I have to say about that is it's a lot more comfortable and effective when you don't have a big full stomach. So if you eat a big lunch and you're sitting there trying to breathe in like that, you just don't feel like you can take in as much air. So that's the breathing in a nutshell. And I want to challenge you to try it for 30 days and see if you don't notice changes. It's tremendous at reducing anxiety because it's very calming to the nervous system. It helps reset that fight or flight response. And so many of us are stuck there. And we've studied for years on adrenal fatigue, and we've thought, oh, I'm in adrenal fatigue, and we want to take supplements and we want to do all this stuff. And one of the things we can do is breathe right. I'm not saying we don't ever need supplements or anything like that, but I'm saying that this is a foundational thing. And if you'll try it for 30 days, I think you'll see huge, huge improvement. We are also going to marry this with cold immersion, and I'll have another video on that to talk about how to immerse yourself in cold. It sounds awful, but it's really effective too. And those are kind of the 2 foundations of the Wim Hof method, is the breathing and the cold. So I hope you'll try this with me.